This is Fantasy Football Picks and Bets Week 6 Injury Report by position, updated rankings, and of course the prize picks of the week, which is where we'll start. And if you want to get a deposit match of up to $100, use code MMN at PrizePicks.com, and boom, it's done. You can find the link down in the description as well. You can also find the link to RunTheSims.com. You can use /Mayo to get 10% off of any membership level for the standard projections, the standard optimizer, or customize them any way you want. All of the DFS and betting tools that you need, you can take them straight up, you can customize them, and then run simulations in under 10 seconds, 10,000 times. For whichever slate that you want, the main slate, the late slate, the showdown slate, the single game slate, doesn't matter. You can do it all at runthesims.com if you want to follow along with the rankings, or if you want to get the newsletter with the full updated injury report, you can get the Mayo Media newsletter down in the description completely free, as the rankings are as well. So please go check that out right now. Let's jump over to PrizePicks. Got a two-banger. Well, it could be a three-banger if you really wanted to, because there's a special offer going on at PrizePicks.com right now, but I suppose I should let you in on what that is. It's actually an NBA prop, which means you won't be able to cash it until if you hit all your football ones on the weekend. But if you go to NBA, you'll see Steph Curry in the season opener for the Warriors, more or less than 0.5 points. You have a max win of up to $250 on that one, but still, it's a nice building piece if that's what you want to do. I am going to get to that in a second. I'm definitely not going to let that go to waste on a $25 entry, really try to max that out. But where I want to go this week are two just pretty low totals, to be perfectly honest with you. Cooper Rush under his rushing yards is most definitely going to be on my mind. That's on the Sunday night game. But I'll probably throw that into the five-banger that I do in a second. But Skylar Thompson, rushing yards, less than 12.5. We jump over to RunTheSims.com. You can kind of see what I'm looking at here with Skylar Thompson. You have Skylar Thompson up on the screen. Let's see, 1.6 rushes for 6.8 yards. I even think that's on the high end. You can see they have Cooper Rush projected for over. Now, when I make my manual adjustments, he'll come out at like 1 rushing yard. If you just take the under 4.5 rushing yards on Cooper Rush every single week, you're going to win it like 85% of the time. So you can most definitely bet that will be on one of my prize picks plays this week. But what I'm doing right now in order to try to get everything settled, Skylar Thompson, less than 12.5 rushing yards. Then we're going to go to receiving yards and go to our guy, Rashard White, who is another one. 10.5 receiving yards. He's going more than that. Come on now. So that's the play. Skylar Thompson under 12.5 rushing yards. Rashard White over 10.5 receiving yards. My projection has him around 18. I actually think if this game gets a bit out of hand, which the spread would indicate, being 9 now, I believe, for Tampa Bay, that we're just going to see more White than we normally do in a blowout. So go 200 to win 600 on that one, and then boom, there we are. You can see one that I played yesterday as well, just kind of have a placeholder. Thompson, less than 12.5 rushing yards. Cooper Rush, less than 4.5 rushing yards. Tyler Algier, 45.5 rushing yards under. I actually like, now that I've kind of dug in a little bit more, less than 8.5 fantasy points for Tyler Algier, if that's the way that you wanted to go with it. Rashard White, more than 10.5 receiving yards. Obviously, I like that one a lot. So those are really the main four that I'm building around. Throw that in with Steph Curry, and all of a sudden you got a stew going. The other two that I like, Christian Kirk, more than 54.5 receiving yards. Kirk Cousins, more than 22 completions. If that's what you want to play around, have some different combinations of everything. So I'll probably play this exact same foreplay, but with the Algier fantasy points less than 8.5, along with Steph Curry. And then I'll probably throw in Christian Kirk as well as a part of it, because you can only have a max win of $250 with that to try to go a little bit bigger. Maybe go 100 to pay 1,000, something like that. But those are going to be the props for week number 6 on PrizePicks. Use code MMN to get that match deposit of up to $100. You got a free $100 to play around with. Might as well do it. And you have that Steph Curry promo, so you can use 25 of it, try to win $250 on a 5 play, and all of a sudden you're up tons of money. Link is down in the description, or just go to the site, PrizePicks.com, and use code MMN. All right, let's jump over to the injury report for week number 6. We got a lot going on here, and I've updated the rankings up on DK Nation. Like I mentioned, you can find that down in the description. Follow along with the cheat sheet in the newsletter as well, also down in the description. Cam Akers is out for the Rams because of personal matters he has with Sean McVay. Okay. Darrell Williams and James Conner both out for the Arizona Cardinals. Damian Harris is likely to be out, hence why everyone's all over Ramondre Stevenson this week. Justice Hill is likely out for the Ravens too. Raheem Mostert is likely going to play for the Dolphins. Then we still have to wait on more information for Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, Boston Scott, Gus Edwards, and Rashad Penny's out for the year. Obviously, DeAndre Swift, who had missed the past few weeks, is on bye right now. So we go to the updated rankings. You can see where I've kind of slotted in a lot of these either backups or new information type players. Ramondre comes in at number 11. You could play him higher than that if you really wanted to. I believe Run the Sims has him at, let's see here, running backs, fantasy points for the week. Go to the top here. Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Ramondre Stevenson, number 3. So projection-wise, you can see that Ramondre Stevenson comes out a little bit higher than that. I'm just going to temper expectations just a little bit with it. Then you have Breece Hall, number 12. Darrell Henderson, without Cam Akers around, should garner like 75-80% of the snaps against Carolina. It's really good. 13th in the rankings. Ken Walker, number 14. Obviously, we expect him. I mean, Travis Homer and Rashad Penny are both out, so we're going to get the dosage of Ken Walker and some DJ Dallas. Hopefully, it's just all Walker all the time. Benjamin comes in at number 17. Corey Clement is probably going to be the backup, I think. At this point, he was signed to the practice squad. He could get elevated before game day. He would be the one that I would just kind of watch out for, but it seems like they're going to roll with Benjamin in a great matchup against Seattle at the moment. Najee Harris got the plate in his foot taken out, so hopefully it turns his season around a little bit. And J.K. Dobbins just isn't doing enough right now, even with, Gus Edwards should be coming back sometime soon, but there's not going to be any Justice Hill who've been playing a lot of those snaps. But for whatever reason, they're going to continue to mix in like Mike Davis and Kenyon Drake and not give the full workload to J.K. Dobbins, which is really unfortunate because hopefully he's healthy enough to do that. I assume that's the only reason that that's not the case at the moment. They don't feel like his health is the priority at the moment. So J.K. Dobbins still coming in at number 26, a 14-team league that makes him a running back too, more than likely a flex in any other type of league. I have Hines in the rankings right now. Obviously, I have Jonathan Taylor in. Deion Jackson would be the one that you'd want to go to in that circumstance if both of those guys sit. Hell, even if only Jonathan Taylor sits, Jackson appears to be the one that you want. I'd probably bump him up to like that James Robinson, Raheem Mostert range of 23-24 should Jonathan Taylor end up sitting out for the week. Let's go back to the injuries and check out the wide receivers. Now, let me read it first. I sub to my own newsletter. That's craziness. Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry are both out. Chris Olave is not quite past concussion protocol yet, but he's been practicing in full, so hopefully he can end up coming back. If not, that would elevate Marquez Callaway from the number 2 receiver with Andy Dalton starting at quarterback for the Saints in that revenge situation against the Bengals. And then Traquan Smith would be the next man up should anything befall Chris Olave. You'd find them as like cheap DFS plays if that was the case. Kadarius Toney and Kenny Galladay are both out. Wendell Robinson still has a chance to play, but don't hold out hope for Wendell Robinson because the guy never plays. But he's not officially ruled out as of yet. Christian Bateman out. Christian Watson out. I bumped up Devin Duvernay in the rankings. I initially had him outside of the top 40 overall. I think I have him at number 30. Let's see. No, of course that didn't take for me. So Bateman's not supposed to be in there. Devin Duvernay I did bump up. Just me being an idiot forgot to delete Rashad Bateman. But I have him at number 26, sandwiched in between Drake London and Romeo Doubs this week against the New York Jets. Who else do we got going on here? Ashton Dullin's on injured reserve for the Colts. He's out for the year. Julio Jones is likely out as well. I wouldn't expect him to play. Everyone else does seem to be a go for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then we just have guys that we need to wait on. I mean, we don't really care about Jamison Crowder or Jake Kumaro because it does appear like Isaiah McKenzie is going to be in, taking off the injury report. So even him and Shakira going back to the bench, Isaiah McKenzie getting back on right now. Keenan Allen's in the Monday night game. No idea whether or not he's going to play or not. Again, practiced in a limited fashion all week, but doesn't seem like he's any closer to playing at this point. Nelson Aguilar is a game time decision. I mentioned Olave. T. Higgins is the other one in that game. Really like Hayden Hurst if T. Higgins is a no-go against the New Orleans Saints. But great news for Jamar Chase. I would suppose you would theoretically think that, although nothing has been good for Jamar Chase since like week 2 this season. Hell, week 1 this season against the Steelers. Other than that, it's been really bad for Jamar Chase. The rest, the tight ends and the quarterbacks. Pat Freiermuth is out for the Steelers against the Bucs. Zach Gentry Whiskey is going to start in his place. Cameron Brate is in, so Cade Otton has been bumped back down outside the top 20. Not that you want to play Brate, but it did seem with a lack of available bodies at tight end that Otton was the one that Tom Brady preferred. Maybe that continues to be the case. I don't know. It just, with Brate back in, it's impossible to know until we see it in action. Brevin Jordan's probably going to be out, but he's still listed as questionable. Kyle Pitts going to be in. He's number 8 in the tight end rankings. Logan Thomas obviously missed Thursday Night Football. We'll see how Waller's hamstring is coming off the bye week. And Jonnu Smith, game time decision for the Patriots against the Browns. If he is active, there is no way you can play Hunter Henry. So keep that in mind. Not that you really want to play Hunter Henry to begin with, but you know. Teddy Bridgewater has passed concussion protocol, but will likely be a backup. Weirdly enough, Tua is out, but he has passed concussion protocol. He's actually on track to start next week against the Steelers. So keep an eye on that. Jameis Winston is likely in, but Andy Dalton is going to get the start. Baker Mayfield's out for a couple weeks. Obviously, Darnold is still on the injured reserve. So that means we get PJ Walker, Peach, back in our life. And Mac Jones is likely going to remain out with his ankle injury. There's an outside chance that he could play this week. I would not count on that. I think it's just like Damian Harris isn't officially ruled out, although beat reporters said he's going to be out for multiple weeks. I think it's just chicanery from the New England Patriots. Don't want to give too much away on that injury report. And then we'll get to game time. It's an early game, so you're going to know. And they're both going to be out. So you're going to see a lot of Ramondre, and you're going to see Bailey Zappi once again at quarterback, probably 98% of the time with the way that this works out. But yeah, maybe Mac Jones will power through, get those shots, and barely be able to stand out on the field. Who knows? Still like the Patriots against the Browns, though. I don't know if I'm going to bet it, but I do like them this week. Wish the spread was 3, not 2.5. Anyway, check out the rest of the shows on Mayo Media Network. We're going to have the full DFS preview with John Legazia coming out a little bit later on Saturday once there's a bit more information. Tambo and I broke down all the DraftKings picks. Cam Robb and I, best bets of the week, the spread pick show. It's all up there. So I highly recommend that you go check it out. Smash the like while you're here, sub to the channel, and a reminder, once again, prizepicks.com, code MMM, link is in the description, as it is for the newsletter, all the rankings, and runthesims.com/Mayo. Tried to pack that into as much of a condensed time frame as possible so I don't take up too much of your Saturday or Sunday, all right? I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.